to see so many people. Let's get comfortable, guys. Let's get on the seats. Thank you so much for being here today. It warms my heart to see a big crowd. Every single Wednesday, we have a reunion here to meet with the community. To being two entrepreneurs, I'll tell you a little bit about 1 Million Cups. And today, we are celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week with two amazing speakers. But I'm gonna give the mic to my amazing friends from the Governmental Relations Department, Grecia Galvan and Ruben Obel.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Más o menos? Okay. Good morning. My colleague, Grecia Galvan, and I are here just to make some brief introductions, and then we're going to hand it back to Daniel so we can get the program started. This will be very, very brief. My name is Ruben Obel. I am the Director of Governmental Relations for UTRGV. And it is my dubious honor to introduce a few good friends and folks that are here, number one, and number two, introduce our mayor. So I think in the crowd I saw County Judge Eddie Trevino. Is he around here somewhere? There you go, Judge. Thank you for being here. We also have from the office of Senator Adam Hinojosa, I saw Brenda Watson right here, and Zeke Silva was around here too. So glad you're here, Brenda. A couple of the folks that I wanted to introduce is from an appointee for Brownsville PUB is Martin Sarkis back there. We also have from a board member from BCIC, Mike Rodriguez is back there too. And we have a recent appointee, I think as of last night, also Gilbert Rodriguez, Transportation Committee. Thank you, Gil, for being here. Other than that, we have BCICs here. I see Angela Burton. My friend Angela's here. Angela, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I haven't seen you in a long time. Anyways, so like I say, it's my dubious honor to introduce the mayor, and then I think we're going to introduce our other mayor too, right? So I want to introduce to you one of our speakers is Mayor John Cowan. Honorable Mayor John Cowan is a sixth-generation Brownsvillian who comes from a family with a history of service to Brownsville community. He is dedicated to advancing the city's prosperity, competitiveness, and quality of life. Mr. Cowan was elected mayor of Brownsville in 2023 after serving as city commissioner at large A starting in 2019. In addition to his role as mayor, Mr. Cowan is president of Cowan Group Ltd., a company specializing in customs brokerage, warehousing and distribution, real estate and development. His expertise in economic development and cross-border trade has positioned him as a respected voice at national and international forums, including the Texas Tribune Fest, Yale School of Management, and North Capitol Forum. Mayor Cowan serves in key leadership roles across regional and national organizations, including the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Criminal and Social Justice Standing Committee, the South Texas Alliance of Cities, the Border Trade Alliance, the Rio Grande Valley MPO, the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, and Brownsville Public Utilities Board. Mayor, I'm so glad you're here with us today. I could have said a little bit more, but this is going to go on and on and on. Appreciate everything you do for the citizens of Brownsville and for this wonderful city. I'm going to now pass it on to Grecia Galvan.
Good morning, everyone. I just noticed that Commissioner Tino Villarreal is here, so thank you so much for joining us. It is my honor to introduce you to Harlingen Mayor Norma Sepulveda. She's the first Hispanic mayor, first female mayor, and first-generation college and law school graduate. In addition to founding and managing her own successful law firm, she has done an outstanding job creating pathways for others, especially entrepreneurs. She created Harlingen Small Business Board, launched an entrepreneur pitch initiative with the Harlingen EDC and UTRGV's ECC, and has made it a priority to ensure that local businesses have real opportunities to grow and be supported. Under her leadership, Harlingen has seen a record economic growth, major infrastructure improvements, and a stronger focus on quality of life, all while supporting nonprofits, guiding the community through historic changes, and making sure both small and large businesses can thrive. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Norma Sepulveda, a leader whose dedication to creating opportunities for others mirrors the purpose of 1 Million Cups. Thank you all so much for being here and enjoy.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for the Office of Governmental Relations. Thank you guys so much. So let me tell you a little bit. If it's your first time in the building, welcome to Ebridge. This is the house's UTRGV and BCAC, this amazing partnership we have. And every single Wednesday we do this, 1 Million Cups. If this is your first time, I'll just explain it real quick. It's a very simple concept. It's 2 entrepreneurs come every single Wednesday, every week. It's a nationally recognized program, so all throughout the nation there's a meeting just like this one happening. I mean, I would say this is probably the best one, but that's just me. I might be a little biased. So this is just a platform. We just want to give visibility to all the talent we have throughout the region, and this is the efforts that we do. So in collaboration with the partners, we bring you guys 1 Million Cups. So this is not an exception. We were celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week, and we said, what better way than to bring 2 amazing people, 2 amazing leaders, and amazing entrepreneurs. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Mayor John Cowan, representing the city of Brownsville.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here. I want to thank everyone for the invitation to come speak with you all. They didn't really give me a detailed format, but for me, it's about telling my story and trying to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs here in Brownsville. Being born and raised in Brownsville, I think like a lot of youth, I wanted to get out and see the world. I really didn't see myself coming back here. I went off to University of Notre Dame, got a degree in finance. I graduated right after 9/11, and so there were no jobs. And so I ended up moving to Chicago without a job, and I got into consulting. I worked for a Big Four institution called Deloitte, and that gave me a great insight into how to be a professional, how to deal with multinational corporations. I ended up moving to New York City and lived there for 2 years. So I got to see the world. I got engaged, started thinking about starting a family, and I'm like, I don't want to have a family in a big city where there's it's kind of chaotic, it's expensive. I was really drawn back to coming home then. Coming back home to family, to community of the city that I know and I love, right? So I moved back up in 2007 to come work with my dad. My dad built a business here. He was a serial entrepreneur. He was a man that took risks every day, and it really drove my mom crazy. But I think I learned a lot from him in the sense that you need to be bold. You need to be a dreamer. You need to have that faith that you can succeed. You have the skills. You have the network here to come together to accomplish your dreams. And so he allowed me to learn that mentality. And being a businessman, he was involved primarily in the customs brokerage business. He started back when NAFTA was created, back in the early 90s, and was able to build a customs brokerage that's probably one of the largest south of Laredo, right? And was one of the few U.S. customs brokers to learn the Mexican side, the Mexican customs brokerage world, which is a much different, more complicated, a very high-risk environment. And he said, you know what? I'm gonna be an expert in that as well. And he also decided to start a software company in Mexico that provided software solutions to the maquila industry. So he just kept on pushing the limit. He wasn't content with just being normal. He wanted to be different. He wanted to be the pacemaker, right? The trendsetter in the business. And so, that allowed me to really say, hey, how can we be more professional? How can we scale? And how can we use all the financial tools to really expand our profile and our reach? So fast forward, I would say we've probably tripled in size since I've been here. We're now over 150 employees. and 100 on the US side, 50 on the Mexican side in our software business. And then we got into multifamily real estate, which again, I know nothing about. My dad knew nothing about, but he wasn't afraid of doing that, right? And he said, well, there's a need. We built the first Class A multifamily development here in Brownsville in over 20 years. And other people weren't willing to do it, but my dad said, Brownsville needs it. There's a demand. He had the intuition to do it, and it was very successful, right? And so I think, that journey really put me in a position to have that mentality to be able to take risks, to be empowered to take risks, but also put me in a position to be able to give back to my community, right? And to say, hey, how can I take that mentality and apply that to city government, to our boards, our local institutions, right? And so in 2007, when I moved back, I was approached, to get involved. And when I came home, I think serving in a board or in a public capacity was, I felt pretty like, why me? Like I'm not anyone special, right? But it was very apparent when I started to get involved, like, hey, I can have an impact here. When I was approached to serve on the Housing Authority board here, the Housing Authority at the time was at risk of being taken over by the federal government, by HUD, because of lack of compliance, lack of leadership. And so I got into the Housing Authority along with some other like-minded people, and we were able to turn that organization around to being one of the highest performing in the United States. And so a lot of the work that we did back then, you're starting to see come to fruition now with the El Jardín Hotel being redeveloped by the Housing Authority, opening hopefully by the end of the year. That building was vacant for 40 years, right? It's one of our most historic and most visible structures here in Brownsville. That will be, is part of the story of the transformation of Brownsville, right? And not that I know anything about housing authorities, but I know what integrity means. I know what good leadership looks like. And I think that message, I think, has resounded along my journey. And by seeing how good leadership can impact institutions, it allowed me to have the confidence to continue my journey, to start getting involved at the economic development level at GBIC afterwards, where I was the only non-elected board member at GBIC during a time of pretty great turmoil in Brownsville leadership, right? We had to dissolve the Brownsville Economic Development Council because of corruption issues, right? Those are hard times for Brownsville, and I had a front row seat to that. But I think making those decisions, those hard decisions, allowed us to be in the position of where we are today, where we're the fastest growing city for job growth as an MSA with Harlingen in the state of Texas, right? Which has never happened. And I don't think those things, yeah, I'll take some applause for that, right? But I think those, our success here, and I'm not taking any credit here, but I think it's an example where good leadership matters, right? And people that are willing to take that business perspective, that risk management perspective, where you don't want to take too much risk, but you take calculated risks that will pay off in the long run for everyone. So I think that's my message to you, is have faith in yourself, surround yourself with people that are going to support you along your journey, and don't be afraid. Your community's here to support you at the end of the day. We have built a culture of resiliency, of entrepreneurship, of people that support each other, and I think that's an amazing thing. And it's not just Brownsville; it's regional, right? You're seeing it across the valley. you're seeing a reflection of that in leadership at all levels. And it's probably the best time ever to be in the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm really proud to be involved at this stage. So I'm not sure about the format, if that's,
Let's give it up for Mayor Cowan. Now that's you know, let's switch microphones.
sure.
Here you go. So now usually what we do is we have options for a Q&A from the audience. So in a regular format, we will have the audience out. So we have questions. We have time for 3 questions from the audience. Who would like to ask Mayor Cowan? Let me go that way.
Good morning, Mayor Cowan. Great to have you back at eBridge. My question is about regionalism and its growing role in the RGV. Do you still run into hesitation from local civic leaders on regionalism, and how do you pitch it to them? 1 Million Cups is more about storytelling than pitching, but I'm wondering about your pitch of regionalism, because I think globally there's a wave of anti-regionalism, a lot of Euroscepticism and stuff like that, but you know, this is not a supranational thing we're trying to do here. It's just mayors getting together. We have 2 amazing mayors right here. So what is your pitch of regionalism here in the RGV?
I think that's a great question. I think, you know, my pitch would be, you know, for example, a win for Harlingen is a win for Brownsville, right? You know, they just announced a data center project. I read in the paper, it's over $1 billion data center coming to the area. That will definitely impact Brownsville in a positive way. You know, as we grow, we want our neighbors to grow. We want Matamoros to grow. That is very important to me. That you know, I think you have, it's a snowball effect, right? It creates that narrative that as a region we can, that we work together, that we have a strong workforce, a young, educated workforce. We have all the tools needed for any type of business to be successful here, right? And that we're all speaking the same narrative. And I think that's really happening across the region. And the people that are regionalists, I think that's the wrong mentality at this stage. I mean, I don't think that's beneficial in the long run.
Okay, we have one more question this way.
Mayor, thank you so much for being here with us again. My name is Eric Arriaga. I have 2 things. Since you're entrepreneurs and a lot of entrepreneurs here, what books do you recommend that you read for people to scale their business, for education for being an entrepreneur and also for leadership? What books do you read? And
I would say the book that really has kind of stayed with me is, it's an older book. It's called From Good to Great. That's a good one. I think that's really showcases the power of not being content where you are, right? That there's always room for improvement, for growth. Having that growth mindset, I take to my life every day, right? As a person, as a dad, as a business owner, as a politician, I think that there's always a next level you can get to. Oh, good.
And we have time for one more question.
A UTRGV student just asked me this, so I'm going to pass the question to you too. Okay, so a UTRGV student just asked me this, so I'm going to ask you the same thing. What's your passion and how do you find it?
I think my passion is really, you know, I think it's all about impact, right? What do I want my legacy to be? Like, I mean, we're only here a short time, I mean, in the big picture, right? It's not about creating wealth in my mind, right? I just want to have a comfortable life, you know, and give my kids a comfortable life. But it's, how do we leave the world in a better place, and how do you want to do that, right? There's a million ways to impact the world. I found my way to be through public service, right? And enabling positive change and accelerating positive change, right? Because we all believe in the potential of Brownsville and the potential of the region. We just have to find ways to inspire people to come together and to not let the naysayers and the bad politics get in the way, right? And I think we've, or at least I've really tried to enable that and create that culture, and bring a leadership pipeline that will continue when I'm gone, right? I think that, to me, that's really important, because I'm going to try to run for re-election in 27, but after that, I'm done, right? And I want this growth to keep on going. I want this culture to keep on going, and I'm going to make sure that we have that culture and that pipeline in place to do that.
Let's give it up to Mayor Cowan.
So I want to interject here just a bit. I want to recognize 3 more people, entities that showed up. First, City Commissioner Pedro Cárdenas is also joining us this morning. We also have our Cameron County Clerk, Silvia Garza, right over here joining us too. And last but not least is the office of Representative Aaron Gomez. Georgette is here with us this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you so much, John Cowan. Let's give it up again for John Cowan, please. Thank you. Without further ado, I want to introduce to our next mayor with the city of Harlingen, Mayor Norma Sepulveda.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So, much like Mayor John, I didn't know exactly what the format was going to be, but my favorite thing to talk about is Harlingen. So every time I get an invite, I'm like, yes, sign me up. This is a little bit different because it's a little bit more about us, but I'm happy to talk about myself, but that's usually not my strongest subject. But I will share with you just a little bit about me. Some of you in the audience have heard me speak about my journey, and so this might be a little recycled, but for those of you that didn't, just give you a little insight to who I am. So I am, of course, the mayor of the city of Harlingen, which is definitely a all full-time consuming job, but I also am a mom, and I think my priority, of course, if I have to give a list of, what's my biggest hat, and it's being a mom. So I'm a mom, I've got 2 boys, and I have a 13-year-old and a 22-year-old. And I know you're thinking, one was a mistake, but I promise you that's not what happened. It was with intention. Because along my journey, and I'm married, I always forget about my husband. People ask me, do you have a husband? I say, yes, I have an amazing husband. But the reason that I have 2 boys so spread apart is because I had this crazy idea that I could actually go to law school. And it's something that I wanted to do when I was a child, and I don't know about you, but I grew up in a Mexican household, and my dad would say, habla mucho, so she's going to be a lawyer. She talks too much, and it's because of that she's going to be a lawyer. So I always thought that I was going to be a lawyer, but nobody told me you had to pay to go, and that it would be difficult and challenging. So I went to school here, University of Texas at Brownsville, and I started teaching. And that's what I did. I taught for a number of years. I taught little kids. But like many of you, at that point in my life, I was already with that entrepreneur mindset. So I was teaching, and I was teaching all these little kids, and they had all this energy. And I taught pre-K, was my first year. Don't do that. So I had crazy, these little kids, they would come in the morning and they would cry because they didn't want to be left at school, and they would tell their parents, please don't take me, don't leave me here, and then they would be done by noon, and then I would get another group at 1, and they'd be crying, oh, please don't leave me. And so it gave me an insight into how children were full of energy and they needed something to entertain themselves with. So I said, I'm going to do something in my community that is going to fix that problem. So I got with a good friend of mine, and we decided that we were going to open up a business in Harlingen called Celebration Station. And we were going to open because we were going to fill the need for the kids that were having just this hard, difficult time in school because they wanted to just have fun and play and have a space, a safe space, and we didn't have something like that in Harlingen. So we said, we're going to do this. We went, we tried to do a little business plan. I didn't know Angela back then. If I did, I think I would have been more successful. But I share this with you so that way you know not every idea is going to be an amazing idea. Not every business is going to be successful, but you will learn along the way. So what I learned was that if you have no money, you can probably make no money. That was what I first learned, because you had to buy inventory and you had to buy, pay for permits and things like that, and we didn't have at a teacher's salary, I didn't have that. But for a whole year, I invested into this business and I learned that I was filling a need, but I wasn't making a profit. And that's when you realize if you're not profitable and you don't see profits in the future, it's time to have some self-reflection and think maybe this isn't the best route for me. And that was my first shot at opening a business. So it was really hard to say, okay, as much as I love this, I'm not making any money. I'm actually losing money by having this business, so I'm gonna have to close my doors. And that was hard, because I thought, well, maybe I'm just gonna teach my whole life. That's just, this is for me. And it's an honorable job, but I felt like that was not my path. That wasn't something that was going to be a long-term future for me. So then my husband got this crazy idea and said, I'm gonna work on NASCAR cars. And back then, I don't even know when, I won't tell you because I'm gonna age myself. He wanted to go to some school because back then everybody would watch TV and they would show these advertisements that if you went to the school in Houston, you could work in NASCAR. And of course, we're all excited, yeah, that'll be fun, no kids, let's go to do that. And so I moved to Houston and I started teaching over there. And I believe in opportunity. How many of you think that there's opportunity for everybody? Yes. And opportunity arises only when you're paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you might lose that opportunity. And so I have always been very observant, looking for my next step, my next path. And so while I was in Houston and I was teaching, my co-teacher, she was young. She had living still back at home with her parents and had this idea that she could go to law school. And I was, of course, her cheerleader. Yes, you can do this. It's great. I think you should. Get out of here. You don't need to be, working here. You have such a bright future ahead of you. And so I was her cheerleader. And she said, would you mind just studying with me? Because I don't have anybody to study with. And at that time, my 22-year-old was 1. So anything I could do to get out of the house, I was like, I'm there. So I started to study with her. And all I did was a couple of weekends at a coffee shop, studied. And then she said, okay, I think I'm ready. And I said, you know what, maybe I'll take this test with you. There's an LSAT, no big deal. Let's just, see how I do. If I do well, then at least I know that I can, maybe I'm good at analytical skills or I can, read and comprehend well. I think I can do this. So I took the LSAT and then I got a pretty good score. And I thought, do you think I could go to law school too? And at this time, my husband was working. It didn't work out. He didn't go to NASCAR, so he was a mechanic. That's a whole other story. So therapy's good, for those of you that are wondering. So we found ourselves we were working, both of us were working full time. Paying daycare at that time was still expensive, it still is today. And I sat down and I asked him, do you think this would be good for our family? I've always wanted to go to law school. Maybe this is my opportunity. How interesting is this setting up for me in this fashion? And so I said, okay, what if I just apply, and if I'm able to, and someone gives me a scholarship of some sort, because we can't afford it, then we'll go. It's like, okay, we'll do that. We prayed about it. I said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So then, of course, that's what happened. I applied to all these schools. I remember I got accepted to St. Mary's. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I want to go to San Antonio. I want to live there. It's great. I don't want to go back home, right? Kind of the same thing. But then they said, we'll give you $10,000. I said, well, shoot, man, that's not enough for me to go to law school. Thank you. Might as well just shut the door on me, right? And so then it was similar. And then I wanted to go to U of H because I thought I could go to the they had like a part-time program, so you could work full-time, go to school. And they waitlisted me, and I thought, well, I felt like I was rejected. You know, I'm not good enough. Of course I can't do this. What am I thinking? I'm in my 30s already. I'm going to go to law school. Of course they don't want me. I have nothing to offer. Got really down on myself. And then I got a letter in the mail from Thurgood Marshall School of Law, which a lot of people, TSU, a lot of lawyers down here in the Valley, they give opportunity to people like me, you know, minorities, maybe taking a risk on someone. But they reached out to me, they sent me a letter, and they said, if you come to our school, we will give you a full ride. You don't have to pay anything. The only thing is you have to be top 10% every year. If you don't make it, then you lose your scholarship. So I was like, man, I haven't been in school in a while. I don't know if I can do that. So I talked to my husband, and he said, yes, let's do this. This is a sign. We sat in front of the school in the car with my son, acting crazy. I said, are we sure we can do this? Because your first year in law school, you can't work. You're not supposed to work, right? If you do, you can risk not being able to finish, right? And it's one of their requirements. And so we made that decision together, and I went to law school, and I got a full scholarship. I didn't incur any additional debt. And it also taught me that I needed to do something to make money even though I couldn't work. So what it did for me is I got back into the workforce, and I worked as a server, as a bartender. All these things that people in my community now, all the type of different roles that they have, I've done those, and I think it makes me more relatable to people. I understand. So if we go to a restaurant and the waitress or the server is having a hard time, I'm still tipping really well, because you never know what kind of day that they're having. Maybe that's Norma, and she's stressed out, she's got a kid at home, right? And she's trying to go to school. You never know what everybody, you know, what a person's journey is, or what battles that they've got going on. So I share all this with you to tell you that life is not linear. You may think that you're going to go one direction, but you may, you know, God might take you somewhere else. And then if you're paying attention, opportunity is going to be there. And if you take that opportunity to walk through that door, you'll be surprised on how well that you can do in a different career path. So if you are trying to invest in something right now, know that it might work out fantastic, or it might be a learning experience. But if you can draw something from each of those experiences, it'll make you a better person in the long run. And I think for me, it has helped me to have a better understanding of where people are coming from. You know, right now there's food insecurity throughout our community. I know Brownsville's doing an amazing job and has opportunities for their residents. Harlingen, we're working the same. But I think for me, I hear people say, oh, well, these people, they're on food stamps, and, you know, they should go get a job, and they should this and they should that. But I can draw on my own experience. My first year of law school, I had to humble myself because we were one paycheck, and I walked into the welfare office to get food stamps for me, my son, and my husband. I'm gonna get emotional. But I share this with you because now I'm doing well. I've gone to law school, I have a practice, I'm mayor of the city, but I've been there where we're concerned, are we gonna have money to put food on the table? And those experiences will make you a better person. Those experiences will help you relate to the people in your community, and it'll also make you just overall appreciative of the things that you have. Because I guarantee you, whatever it is that you're asking for today, and you are gonna attain that, and when you get to that place, you're gonna be asking for more, and then when you get to that place, you're gonna be asking for more. But the thing is, in order to have some type of perspective, is you gotta be able to look back and say, I remember those days when I was asking for the things that I have today, and be appreciative of those things. And that'll make you a well-rounded individual. and hopefully inspire others around you to dream big and to think that you too can do whatever it is that you want. There are opportunities. And of course, public service is also really, really important, but know also that I will be the first one to tell you that living and working, sometimes people work 40, 50, 60 hours. That was me when I first moved back home and I was a baby lawyer. I didn't have time to be on a board. I didn't have time to go to networking events. And so those things are important, but sometimes it might not be the season for you. And if it's not, don't feel bad about that. You gotta do what you gotta do. Don't overextend yourself, because if you do that, then you're not gonna be good at anything when you're doing everything. But you will have a season when you can give back. And as soon as that door opens for you, I encourage you to jump in and jump with your whole heart, because that's where it gets good. When you have that opportunity to be able to give back. And for me, being able to be here just in front of you and share and be a little vulnerable and tell you a little bit about myself, I think that this is a way for me to feel like at least I can reach somebody in the room that has doubts about what's going on in their life, or what investments next, or what opportunities that they're afraid to tackle. I think this is our way of being able to be that soundboard sometimes for somebody that said, hey, I tried this, it didn't work out. Well, guess what? It's okay. You move forward and you can do something different, and maybe that thing will work out. But I will say, those of you that want to be in public service, and John said one more term and I'm done, me too. I am starting my second term, and then I hope to pass the baton to someone else, because it is hard work. And that person that runs, is in this position has to be able to give 110%. And if you think that you cannot give 110% in a leadership role, an elected role, that the people have put you in that position, you shouldn't be in it. If you don't have that energy, you don't have that motivation, then you're doing a disservice to the community. So you gotta be ready to take that. And I know that everybody that I work with throughout the region, I know that was an excellent question, but I will tell you something about Mayor John. He is a true leader. He is the president of or the chair of our South Texas Alliance of Cities. We are working together regionally like we have never done before here in the Rio Grande Valley, and it's because of leadership like Mayor John and the other mayors that we have within the region. So the Rio Grande Valley is on fire right now. Our future is bright. We're doing great things. I hope this was what I was supposed to talk about. There's a lot of opportunity also in Harlingen. I'd love to share anything that you have questions in regards to entrepreneurship and opportunities. We want to support you, whether you're from Harlingen, wherever you are from the Rio Grande Valley. But that's a little bit about me. I hope I didn't go over time, and I will take any questions.
Awesome, let's give it up for me. That was great. Okay, same thing, guys. We have time for 3 questions. Who's ready?
I'll do one.
Oh, wait, just wait for the microphone. She's going.
No. I was like, I have a microphone.
Yeah, yes.
Mayor, thank you so much for being here as well. You be one of my clients as well, but at the end of the day, that's a very inspiring success story. Entrepreneurs that are going through here, what would you tell them? Because again, there's no losing, just learning, right? What about opportunities when you're rock bottom and there's nothing more to do? What would you say to them, or how would they get to the next step?
I would say really look at your rock bottom and determine whether that truly is your rock bottom. I've shared this with other people, but for me, my rock bottom was when I lost my mom. That really broke me. And if you've lost a parent, you know how that feels, or someone very close to you. And I knew that if I could get through that, I could go through anything. So no matter what happens to me, I can persevere, because I've been there. So if you have some rock bottom that you think because your business is not successful, I guarantee you there's someone out there that's struggling with cancer. There's someone out there that's struggling because they can't put food on the table. Your rock bottom might not necessarily be your rock bottom, but if it is a financial issue, go get resources from Angela right there. She is the person. Get resources from UT or GBE. Get business planning. Get advice and find a mentor. Because like my first business, it closed. I didn't, I had to come to that realization that if you're putting money in and you're not getting any money out, then that's not a good plan. But it's because I did not set myself up for success. There's so many opportunities in Brownsville. There's so many opportunities throughout the region. UTRGV does great throughout the Rio Grande Valley. The SBA has money. I mean, there's opportunities for minorities. There's opportunities for women. There's opportunities for veterans. There's opportunities. So don't give up and just reevaluate to see if your rock bottom truly is your rock bottom.
Great answer.
You're talking about advice. Most likely the romantic answer will be no, I won't change anything. But if you had a magic wand and you can go back and change anything so we can learn about what you did wrong or what you could have done better, what's that one thing that you could change or you would change in your past to make it better, to make a better future?
Well, my sister bought me a magic wand, and I have it. It's on my nightstand, but it doesn't work. But all of you in public service will wish you have one, but I have one that doesn't work. But going back, I really, again, I don't, as much as I would like to have changed certain things in my life, I would say, again, I always come back to family. I wish I would have spent more time with the people that I love, whether that be my kids, whether it be my parents, my husband. Just time is one of those resources that you can't get back. However, I have a lot of faith, and I truly believe that every path, every step that we take leads us to where we are. And if I went back and I changed anything, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So I would not reverse course. I think that sometimes you have to fail to be able to succeed. You have to take those risks, and if you don't, you're not going to learn. If you look at the people that are the most successful and that have the most, I guess if you want to say wealth, I know John mentioned sometimes that's not the defining marker of success, but if you look at people that are very highly successful and there's generational wealth there, you will see that they had a journey. And those are the ones that are most successful because of failures. Failures made them successful. The people that are given, they're just, here, mijito, here's your trust fund. Those people are going to be successful, but they're limited in their success. You have individuals that have to, if you have to work at it and you have to work hard, you'll have more appreciation for it, and I think ultimately you'll be most successful. But I wouldn't change anything.
I just want to say thank you. We are actually located in Harlingen, the Small Business Administration, and Norma has welcomed us in, as we've never been welcomed before in Harlingen, but we do cover 14 counties, and I was a previous chamber president, first woman chamber president in Brownsville, and I see a lot of the wonderful changes as well as the collaboration that I have never seen before. And so my hat is off to you, Mayor John Cowan and Mayor Norma Sepulveda, and thank you. The other thing I want to just say quickly is that we not only have money at the SBA, but we have advice. And my advice to you is come see us before you get in a situation, because a lot of times we see people once they're already in the situation, and there's sometimes times when we can't help you. And so my advice is always, and we're gonna sit down with you, we're gonna talk to you, and we're gonna help you be successful, either through helping build your confidence, through helping you with access to capital, through putting you in a certification for a contracting program, or if there's a disaster in your area, and Norma and I worked very closely in communication when there was the flooding in Harlingen last March. And so just think about that it's not just about SBA and funding, but it's SBA and being your best friend when you're thinking about opening a business, or if you're starting to open a business, we're going to talk to you. We're going to be inspirational, and we're going to help you get on the right path. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. I just want to piggyback on Angela's comments. Really, I think that the SBA is underutilized. They're such a great resource, but every time I hear somebody attribute their success to them, it is because they're in great positions. I know we had the groundbreaking for Elizondo Insurance, and she was award-winning. She's doing amazing work, but she attributes to the coaching, the mentorship, the opportunities, capital, things that are super important. And one of the things that we're doing in Harlingen is, I don't have enough time to share, but with my path and my journey, when I try to open up my law practice, I found it very difficult in Harlingen to navigate that. I actually came and I opened up here in Brownsville. Brownsville was doing it right. This was 2011. And so I opened up here because the process was so difficult in Harlingen. I felt like Brownsville, just opened their arms. The chamber gave me a call. Like it was much different than it was in my community. And so it's been my focus to make it easier in Harlingen. And one of the things that we've learned with our small business advisory committee and just listening to individuals is how that process works. And I think that advice from Angela is key. Like, don't sign on the dotted line of any lease until you've done your research to see if your business can open in that location, because you may be tied in. If you are already strapped for cash and you need to pay rent and you can't open for 6 months because you didn't do your research, you may find yourself in rock bottom before you even get started. So super important information. Go see Angela at the SBA, or come see us, come see the good folks in Brownsville. There's so many people here to help.
Let's give it up again for both of our mayors, please. It was really inspiring to hear you guys' stories, to hear you guys' success, and also just to put it out there to the public. I'm pretty sure that more than just one person was inspired today. So, you might be asking yourself, other than coffee, other than the stories, what do we have here? What are we doing here? The one thing about 1 Million Cups is creating connections. Not just networking, not just talking to each other, just true connections we have. I want to say, the UTRGBT, can you please raise your hand, please? The BCAC as well, SBA as well. These are people that want to help out. These are people that want to be there for you. I'm part of the UTRGB Entrepreneurship and Commercialization Center. We focus on helping, being a resource all throughout the valley. We have amazing partners like BCAC, Harlingen EDC, we have FAR EDC. We work throughout the region with every single one. We want to help out. We want to be here for you. So every time you come here, I want you to talk to us. I want you to see what else is out there for you. This is what 1 Million Cups is. Creating community, creating connections, getting resources. This is what we do. I want to say thank you so much for being in 1 Million Cups. I hope I see you every single Wednesday. I hope I see the room as full as it is today. As we continue celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week, we have a week. We're in the middle. So today, from 3 to 7, we're gonna have amazing vendors. We have 16 vendors in the room. I would like for you guys to come meet them. I would like you guys to come and join us. Actually, some of our vendors are from the Rise of Harlingen. We're part of that. Please come see them. Please come support them. Thursday, we have Noche de Despecho. It's just to let it all out. I know as entrepreneurs, sometimes it's stressing. Sometimes you need that little time. We got it. We got you. And then last but not least, one of the resources we have as a university in collaboration with the EDOs throughout the region is the Kaufman Fast Track. It's a course. We do it for every single entrepreneur that wants to get educated a little bit more about business principles. We do it. We're having a family reunion. We're gonna have everyone on the region on Friday. Please meet us. If you don't know about this course, come talk to us. We would love to have it. And then we have one more. I'm gonna introduce to Dr. Robles. She has one more thing for our Entrepreneurship Week. So let's give it up to Dr. Robles.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank this amazing week and activities to the mayor and to all our representatives helping to promote entrepreneurship among our entrepreneurs. And not only entrepreneurs, but young entrepreneurs or people who's studying who wants to become an entrepreneur. I am delighted to celebrate this week with the company. of the Universidad Uniminuto from Colombia. Welcome. This is a Colombian delegation. Please raise your hands here. Welcome. Miss Linda Offland couldn't be here today, but she said, please, let's welcome, she welcomes you, Miss Corina, and everybody from BACIC. We welcome you. This is a 100K strong in the Americans foundation. That means these students, along with 3 UTRGV students, went to Colombia last August, and I was blessed to be there to help them. And last year, this dream came true. 3 companies, along these students and professor, we have the professor and Miss Livia as well, from the admin part. We started this dream. Entrepreneurship is about collaboration, isn't it? And this is a global week. Entrepreneurship Week. Imagine our RGB students collaborating with companies in Colombia. That is amazing, isn't it? And this semester, I'm conducting a virtual exchange program with them too. So this is just the starting of a great collaboration, and I just want to mention that we are very lucky to have you. Voy a decirlo ahora un poquito brevemente en español para los que hablan español. Bienvenidos a nuestra Universidad Uniminuto de Dios. Gracias por colaborar con UTRGV. Gracias por estar aquí. Están a punto de dar un tour en esta incubadora. Y pues bienvenidos. Y quiero, ya que estamos en esto, I just want to promote, there's a VIP Idea Lab. I know many of you have been attending to the VIP Idea Lab. It's a design thinking workshop. I have some people here that has already attended. It's today. Ms. Offland asked me to promote it as part of the entrepreneurship, Global Entrepreneurship Week. And I'm gonna have some flyers on the tables. You can register, you can still register. And I have some printouts for the parking permit. It's gonna be from 1 to 3. It's a design thinking, and it will be about celebrating also the International Education Week, along with Dr. Samantha Lopez, in charge of UTRGV International Student Services. And you are gonna meet entrepreneurs, you are gonna meet young people, you are gonna meet our Colombian delegation. It's about how to resolve problems, correct? Maki is here, who attended to the Alzheimer session, thank you, and so many students that have attended. Don't miss it. Lunch from 12:30 to 1, yes, free lunch. A lot of giveaways for the first time from VIP Idea Lab. Yes, we have merchandise finally. And the opportunity from 1 to 3 to resolve a huge problem in our valley, which is the lack of adaptability, resilience, and understanding of different cultures, backgrounds. And so that's what we are going to talk about today, and we want to see you there today. Hopefully you can sign in, join us, and I will have print parking permits in case you want to join us. Thank you so much and welcome. I would like to have a photo with the mayor and all the people who is representing us from the government. Corina, BCIC, everyone come, and of course ECC. Is it possible?
Yes, we have one last thing and then we'll get to the photos. I promise we're gonna have time for everything. So I have one more announcement from our partners from the SBA. You wanna take it away, Ms. Angela? Woo!
I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier. May is National Small Business Week, and we're right in the middle of taking nominations for a variety of different categories. The deadline is December 8th, so we're getting pretty close to it. So we've got different categories. I encourage you, I encourage you to go to the website to see if you qualify for one of the categories. Actually, the last year Small Business Person of the Year was from Harlingen. The year before that, the Small Business Person of the Year was from Brownsville, a young lady that owns 3 or 4 daycare centers here in Brownsville. So please, stop us, look up the website, and let us help you, because this provides great exposure for your business and as well as networking. So thank you so much. I hate to keep everybody.
And I will just keep it short. Like every Wednesday I say, I will see you next Wednesday on Morning Cups. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great one.